Adjustable dumbbells are synonymous with home gyms. Everybody wants heavier, faster changing, and more compact. These are the Pepin Fast Series adjustable dumbbells, and they may just meet all of those criteria. Let's do the review. Hey friends, it's Coop from Garage Gym Reviews. Today we are reviewing the Pepin Fast Series dumbbells. Quite possibly, well, I don't want to bury the lead, but these are a very unique adjustable dumbbell that go very heavy, quite possibly the heaviest adjustable dumbbell that's out there that is actually manageable to use. There's some others I've used and have, like I've got a 175-pound power block set that make you feel like you've got Hulk hands, almost impossible to use. These are designed to, in some ways, mimic some of the best adjustable dumbbells and combine them into one. Dumbbells like Dumbbells, Iron Masters, Power Blocks, they kind of lend from all different ones and create honestly one of the highest quality adjustable dumbbells I've ever used. Now that doesn't mean there aren't things I'm going to call out. There will be a lot of them. Just so you know, for transparency's sake, Pepin sent these free of charge for a review. Also, we'll put links below the like button. If you'd like to purchase these, go through those. Pepin will pay us a small commission, doesn't increase the cost you pay, but like I always say, it does allow us to continue to do the work that we do here at Garage Gym Reviews. Now, if you've been here for a little bit, you know that these won an award this year, specifically the Most Innovative Adjustable Dumbbell Award for our Fitness Most Wanted Awards. It's where we basically detail the best in fitness over the past year, the most innovative, the coolest, the best price, value, those sorts of things. And these won the most innovative, which I think surprised a lot of people. Now, adjustable dumbbells, if you're new here, we review all of them, and we have reviewed all of them. If there's ones that we haven't reviewed, one specifically that I know people are gonna ask about is the Core Home Fitness adjustable dumbbells. You can continue to let me know, but we have those on the way, and we do have a review on those coming out along with many others. If you'd like to see those or would like to see any other reviews, make sure you subscribe because we have many along the way. Now, I'm gonna start with some of the real positives on these. First off, these things go heavy. When people are looking to buy an adjustable dumbbell, they often want a set that they can either upgrade over time or can meet their strength goals from the beginning. That's one of the problems with some adjustable dumbbells, and one of the problems people have with some of the, say like the Bowflex 552s and some others that have been around for a long time, is they just don't get heavy enough for real lifters. It's one reason up to this point, the Iron Masters, in my opinion, and in the opinion of many other, have really been the go-to lifter's choice adjustable dumbbells because they can go very heavy and they feel like a normal dumbbell with knurling and everything like that. These are designed to compete with those in some regards. So this set we have here is definitely heavy enough for like a vast majority of you, and that is 120 pounds. This is a 120 pound set. At this weight, it's 17.5 inches. This is the most compact adjustable dumbbell at that weight, or really just about any weight that's out there, which is a massive benefit. And the benefit is that when you're using a nice heavy dumbbell, when the heads get too big, they start to clank in front of each other. So you know this if you've ever done a press with a really heavy dumbbell, it shortens the range of motion, or a row, or even curls. It's like weird to curl around. The more compact, the better. And at 17.5 inches with a max 120 pounds is a huge benefit. I mean, having the ability to go that heavy, or even go heavier if you get a heavy handle kit, they can actually go up to 130. And I've heard that Pepin may even come out with an even heavier version. It's like, man, really not gonna be limited on the weight of the dumbbell. It's just gonna be a limit of how much you can lift. Now, one of the problems with some heavy dumbbells is you kind of have to buy them at that weight sometimes. For instance, Dumbbells, you either have to start with the 50-pound set or you have to buy the more expensive 80-pound set. There's no way to expand them. It's one reason I like Power Blocks, because you can buy a base set and then buy kits over time to upgrade when your funds increase or when you get stronger. These are upgradable. So you can buy a 60-pound set and upgrade them over time. Now there are some caveats and problems there. Number one is they don't have the add-ons available on their site yet. In addition to that, you have to buy separate cradles. Now I'm gonna talk about that later because I actually have a way that I think they could fix that so you'd only have to have one cradle. But for right now, as of the recording of this video, we've been told by the owner of Pepin, you have to buy a separate cradle if you do it, which means you also have to pay shipping because they're coming from Canada, they're made in Canada, and if you're in the US, it just costs quite a bit to get them shipped. In addition to that, you're gonna have to buy the extra plates, which they don't currently have available, he says, because nobody's asked for them. So I'm sure in the future, if people ask for them, he could just sell you the plates, but just be aware. But the ability to expand from a 60-pound dumbbell up to a 120-pound dumbbell, I love the ability to expand it over time. I think it's a huge benefit and something that prevents you from being like locked in and having to buy a completely new dumbbell set over time. I love that. Then we have the quick adjust. Now, this is something that companies have taken more and more thought into over time. I think the reason is because people are coming from a commercial gym to a home gym. They're used to using fixed dumbbells, which the way you adjust fixed dumbbells is you just place them on the rack, grab the other one. Very nice for supersets, just a huge benefit for fixed dumbbells. So when you're using an adjustable dumbbell, say like an Ironmaster, that you've got to like take the thing off, pull it all the way off. Even though it's got a quick lock screw, and I know people, they use it enough, they get really good at it, it still takes more time and just more annoyance than a fixed dumbbell set. This, I think, is not as quick as say a Dumbbell with the rod that adjusts with the handle and expands on both sides, because this, you have to adjust on both sides. But it, one, is very quick. It's two, also very satisfying. I'd actually say of all the gym equipment I reviewed, the adjustment on this may be the most satisfying, including the Gungner Quick Collar that I absolutely love. Let me show you how it works. So the way this works is there's this pop pin right here. This pop pin is one magnetic, two stainless steel, and there's also spring loaded within, so it feels just like really premium when you move it. Whenever you want to pop it out, you put your thumb on the inside and pop it out. You can also kind of get your finger in here if you want, but I actually like the way this is designed because it's big enough that you can adjust it, but not so big that it gets caught on clothing or something like that and then adjust on its own while you're doing a set. Definitely not something you want. So the way that you adjust it is you pop it out. Oh, I'll just do that again. Just listen. Very nice. Okay, then you adjust it by moving it over. Now they could have made this where it was just some clunky, you know, movement. It would function just fine, but they made it so there's a spring in there that keeps it within the realm of where it's supposed to be. And then when you move it over, you get like an audible sound and a feel that lets you know like you're locked in. So I just move it over here, and I'll just go back and forth real quick so you can hear it. Yeah, it is very nice. And it like slides, it's just very quick. Like this stuff is an example of form following function. They were like, we have to figure out a way to make this function. And they're like, how can we do it in such a way that is long lasting, premium, also safe because it lets people know when they're on the right place. It's just very nice. They could have overlooked this, done something very quick and chintzy. I'm really glad they didn't overlook this. And so this is one of, I think, the standout parts on this. You just quickly adjust it. You can actually look at the top of the rail because it's laser etched with the pound markings. So instead of there being a sticker or something like that they could have done, that could have taken off, we see that from companies like PowerBlock. It's really annoying. There's actually laser etched in here, so no matter what, like you're not gonna, you know, you're not ever gonna rub it off. You then select the one that you want and pop it in. You do it on both sides though. So you start on one side, go up, and then if you want to go on the other side, you can go up as well. Now they say this can adjust in 5-pound increments, and it technically can. For instance, you could choose 20 on one side and 30 on the other. That loads an extra plate on one head, so then you're at 25 pounds. The problem with that is the weight's offset. So instead of being the same amount of plates on both sides, if I want to do 25, I move one over, and now basically there's an extra plate on this side. I don't love that method. I think it's a little bit annoying to have one on one side. I watched my buddy Brandon Campbell Diamond's review on these, and he said he didn't really notice when it was offset. And I kind of agree with him because these plates are pretty thin, but I'd also say if you are OCD, you're gonna notice it. Like, it does feel a little bit different from a perfectly balanced fixed dumbbell like most of you are used to using, but I don't think it's a big enough of a hindrance to worry about. But this is another benefit that they came up with, and the reason they came out with a version 2 that we have here is they now have these add-on plates. So technically, with what you have here on the handle, you can adjust in 5-pound increments, but if you buy these add-on kits with the new version 2, you can adjust them in 1.25 increments. So you can take these, here's a 1.25, here's a 2.5. You could technically just put one on one side, lock it in, and then you're in 1.25 pound increments. Or you could put them on both sides, you're at 2.5, or you could put 2 of these and you're at 5-pound increments balanced. I love that they added these. I think they're a good design. They do move around a little, but they are secured using a stainless steel pop pin right here. Like you can see, it's just nice. It has a nice spring inside, so you pull it and it locks in. You don't have to worry about it falling off, and then you can quickly take it off. I'm glad they added these, but I don't think necessarily you need them. I just say if you're going to buy them up front because you don't want to pay shipping twice. So I like this add-on. I like that they came out with the version 2. I am sorry for those that have a version 1 that didn't get these, can't upgrade them over time, but that's part of innovation as things just move forward. Okay, now to the construction. This is a full steel construction. So there are some out there that say they're a full steel construction. Example is the Snowed 8080. They say they're a full steel construction, and we reviewed those. You can check it out, the link below the like button. We definitely like those, but they're not technically a full steel construction. They have nylon gears inside, and that's what's moving the rod within it. These are truly full steel construction, except for UHMW plastic, which I'll hit on in a moment. I actually like that addition. But for full steel construction, these are not cast iron. When we did the Fitness Most Wanted Awards, I said they were cast iron. I need to correct that. These are not cast iron. These are steel CNC cut plates, which allows them to be very compact, also allows them to be very accurate, and allows them to just look damn good. I mean, this dumbbell just looks and feels like a normal dumbbell, which is something a lot of people want in an adjustable dumbbell. Say power blocks, for instance. The reason that some people don't like power blocks is because they don't feel like a normal dumbbell at times, because they have that cage on the side. Now this does have a cage, and I'll talk about it in more depth in a minute, but for most people, I think this is gonna feel like a normal dumbbell. If you close your eyes, the cage doesn't really get in the way, and due to the pro style round head design, it feels like a normal dumbbell. And due to the steel plates instead of cast iron, it allows for a very compact dumbbell at a very heavy weight. 17.5 inches at 120 pounds for an adjustable dumbbell is pretty much unheard of. So it's like a huge benefit that they're using full steel. So the plates themselves are full steel, and then they're coated in a black powder coat. This is actually, as well as the handle, coated in electroless nickel. I really like nickel plating. It's the same plating that Kabuki Strength uses on their new gen power bars, or at least used to, which is one of my favorite coatings if stainless steel isn't used. I would have loved a stainless steel handle if I'm just being honest, but electroless nickel is a premium plating. It's not like chrome, it's much better. My bars that have nickel on them still look just like they did on day one. It's much better than chrome, it's much better than zinc. It just looks really good, and it will resist corrosion really well. So I actually really like this, and glad that they went with this. In addition to that, there's one other coating, and that is this bar here. It's actually black Cerakote. I don't know why they didn't go with powder coat on that. Maybe Cerakote wears better, and this is a potentially wearable part. This bar right here that pops out and adjusts the weight increments. But this one is black Cerakote that's oven cured. I think it'll last a long time. It looks good. It doesn't stand out. I mean, generally the coatings and everything they're using on this, as well as the steel they're using, is great. It's very premium. In addition to that, instead of like skimping on the tray they're using, like Dumbbells, for instance, they use a plastic tray with aluminum rods, as do many other companies. The problem with those plastic trays is if you're actually training with a really heavy dumbbell, setting it down gently can get kind of annoying. You know, it's like you do a heavy hard set, you max out, you then come down, like to then collect yourself and just set it in. Like I could just see people breaking those. I've broken a Dumbbell cradle before too. This is a fully steel CNC'd cradle too. So it's not just the dumbbell, like the cradle is as well. It's a very like satisfying drop. Like just listen. Like it's just like, when we first got these in, I was just adjusting and dropping it, you know, adjust, drop, like it just feels very good. There's a lot of satisfaction, which I think there should be when it's a premium product. It's the reason people buy Apple products. They work really well, but they also feel really good. And this is one of those products too. Now to the handle, and this is something that lifters love because they love barbells. And so if you're looking at this product, you probably like to lift, because I would say this is a lifters oriented product. This is for somebody, probably not a beginner who just wants lightweight. This is somebody who really dials in on the equipment and wants the best that's available. So the handle has to match. If they came out with this great dumbbell and this knurling sucked, I would be really pissed. I would. But the knurling is very good. It's a volcano knurl, so it's still grippy without being overly aggressive. Say like a mountain peak knurl, it can be and feel really aggressive, but doesn't really grip any extra over a volcano knurl. This is an amazing choice. It feels very good in hand. It's not overly aggressive that somebody that doesn't really like barbells and aggressive knurling doesn't really care about that, just doesn't really want calluses. This is gonna feel fine, but for those that are used to using Ohio power bars or Kabuki strength power bars, some of those higher end power bars, you're gonna really like this knurl. Like, it feels really good. The diameter of the handle, I think, is adequately sized at 38 millimeters. I prefer a thicker handle than a thinner handle, especially on a dumbbell, because you want it to work as well for presses and pulls. If it's too thick, it gets hard to actually do rows with because you're just focusing so much on grip. If it's too thin, then it feels uncomfortable when you're pressing. 38, I think, is a great choice. It also adds extra rigidity to the dumbbell. Then lastly, this has a lifetime warranty. They don't technically tell you to drop it, but what I would say is this is a fully steel dumbbell that's made very premium, also has extra rails for rigidity, made in Canada, and a lifetime warranty from a company who the guy is so invested in the company that he puts his name on the company. I love that idea. Like, just saying, like, I love when somebody cares enough about their customers that they're willing to put their name on it and would be willing for their name to even go down if the ship sinks. I freaking love that. So that lifetime warranty is very nice. And this is something that I really don't foresee you having many wear out parts. So everything is steel except for the UHMW plastic. And the UHMW plastic is used in sections that I think is really well done. So they put it on the dovetail sections, which is what connects the plates together. If that ever wears out, you can replace them very easily. In addition to that, it prevents steel on steel or metal on metal contact. They also even put UHMW on the inside of the handle for when these touch, so there's no metal on metal contact there. Just like really well thought through, and from somebody obviously that is really into training in the space and into equipment. Now to the questionable parts. These are the biggest downsides, the things that I think people are gonna point out and the things that I noticed while training with them. Number one, the side rails. I think this is the biggest thing that people are gonna look at and be like, man, I don't want a dumbbell that feels like a power block. So generally, these do not feel like a power block. These feel better than power blocks. I don't mind power blocks personally. Like, I've used them for years. I have no problem with the cradle, but I recognize there's a lot of people that do. These feel much more similar to a normal dumbbell than a power block does. In fact, it's actually superior, I think, in some ways to a fixed dumbbell at lighter weights, because it actually feels more like a center mass bell or a fat bell because the weight is all around the hand. So like the 20 and 30 pounds, because of where the bar is placed on the outside, like, it feels like the weight is all around your hand, which is very nice, and one reason I like center mass bell so much. But one positive with the railing, if you're just like, I really hate railing, one of the positives is the new version is now rounded. So technically, you can use it as a handle if you wanted to use it for goblet squats, pressing, close grip presses, or French press, behind the neck tricep extensions, that sort of thing. It actually feels pretty good. It's not perfect, it's not rounded on the inside, but it's not sharp. It is rounded on the outside, and I'm glad they added the rounding. It just makes a better looking product, also a more usable product. But when you're using it like this, because the handle is wide enough, the rails are far enough from your hand, the only time you're really gonna have it touch is if you rotate the handle and have it placed on there. When you're doing curls or anything like that, as long as you're gripping it, it's not gonna get in the way at all. So if you close your eyes and grip it like you're going to when you're using it, you will not even notice that the rails are there. And the rails honestly just add extra rigidity if you wanna drop it and just have a longer lasting dumbbell. Now, there are two other potential downsides that I wanna mention that, depending on how you're gonna use these, you should know about. Number one is they start at a 20-pound weight limit. They actually have an option that is a heavy handle kit that starts at 30 pounds, but for most of you, that's only gonna add 10 pounds on the top, and I think many of you would rather have a lighter handle. For me, the ideal is a lighter handle. If you can have one that goes from 5 to 120 in 2.5 pound increments, obviously that would be ideal. But these start at 20 pounds, which means if you're doing any prehab, rehab work, or just aren't very strong, you're going to need to have some other dumbbells. I think starting with a 20-pound handle and then going up to 120 pounds, I think that's fine. And these are really gonna be for lifters, so I think they're gonna like that. Also, fixed dumbbells that are lighter are cheaper. So the way I would do it, if I wanted these, is I'd buy a 5-pound pair of fixed dumbbells and a 10-pound pair of fixed dumbbells, and that's what I would use if I wasn't using this. But understand, like, these are a pricey dumbbell and they start at 20 pounds, which for some of you in some movements is gonna be kind of heavy. Then lastly is the price. These are pricey. These are as pricey as I think you'd expect. I don't think they're like, when you use them, feel them, see the features, I don't feel like the price is egregious, especially because these are made in Canada, like by a really small shop and shipped from Canada to us in the US. It costs extra, but for the 120-pound set with shipping, it's over $2,000. So over $2,000 for an adjustable dumbbell that goes up to 120 pounds, which means the market for these is pretty limited. I could see people start with, say, a 60-pound set who don't have a lot of money and then over time add on, but it's very cost prohibitive to do so because later on you're still gonna have to pay shipping again. So buying it all at once, the way I'd recommend if you really want these is to save up, buy it all at once. That way you don't have to pay extra for both a cradle as well as extra plates for the dumbbells and shipping on top of that. It's just gonna get expensive. But with that price, $2,000, there have been some deals out there that you could get a fixed set of dumbbells from 5s to 100s and 5-pound increments for around that price. Like, I've seen them. Like, so you're starting to think like, man, like, how much do I really want adjustable dumbbells? Which means these are really for people that, 1, want a really heavy dumbbell, that 2, want a really premium experience, that 3, have the money to do so, but 4, may not have the space. You know, so it's like people often probably that live in cities or apartments that want a really nice dumbbell that adjusts, that goes heavy, but just don't have the space to put them. Because these are a very, very premium dumbbell, but they also cost as such. You know, this isn't one of those super value plays. For instance, you could buy 2 pairs of Dumbbells plus have money left over for a stand and some other goodies to add to your home gym instead of just buying one of these. Now, these go 40 pounds heavier. They're a much stronger dumbbell made in Canada with, I feel like, actually a nicer experience, but it's not like they're that much better than Dumbbells. Part of the spending more money for things is the improvements over the other items decreases for each dollar you spend. So people also ask about calibration, like how close are these to the weight? Many dumbbells, especially adjustable dumbbells, are all over the board. They're not like barbells. These are pretty much right on. All right, so we'll do 20. 20.7, so within a pound over. I'd rather be over than under. Oh, that's nice. 30. 30.9. And we'll do one more. We'll just do 60. 61.3. So 1.3 pound over what's stated, but personally, I'd rather have it over than under. There's one other thing I want to call out. Pepin says that if you're going to upgrade these, you can't use the same stand. So if you use like a 60 pound, it's a 60 pound stand. You have to then, if you upgrade, you have to buy a 100 pound stand or 120 pound stand, which is cost prohibitive, is also really annoying, and honestly, I don't think has to be that way. So the way that I would adjust this, the way that I would fix this, so you can use one tray and everybody could use the same tray, which then they could probably all use the same stand, because he does sell a stand, which, by the way, I don't love the stand because you have to lean over. I prefer the Dumbbell that you like walk in between and then deadlift up. It's just better for lower backs, obviously. Right now, the way that these adjust is with these nuts right here. So if you want to adjust them, you undo them, and then this piece goes back and forth. Right now, the slits are on the adjustment piece. They're on this piece right here. If instead, Pepin made the slits on this tray all the way through instead of on here, and then these could adjust in and out, you could use the exact same tray for both the 60s, the 80s, the 100s, the 120s, it wouldn't matter. You could have one tray, which would mean all you'd have to buy and all you have to spend for shipping is the additional plates if you wanted to upgrade. Having to buy the separate trays is a bad idea. Pepin, please, if you can figure this out, take this idea and use it, because I think it'd be cheaper for people. So now that we have this huge 8,500 square foot facility where we can house equipment, test it, everything like that, there's only so much that makes it into my garage now. It's really like my top picks, the things that are just like, these are things that I like so much that I want them in my garage, my 3-car garage that has only so much space. And honestly, I don't want just filled with so much equipment. I want to have places to move and actually use the equipment. These are going in my garage. That's how much I like them. So if you're like, Coop, what's the one that you like the best that, you know, you're not considering the cost, everything like that, like you're like, which one would you use? Like, you can tell which ones I think are the best if money's no object, and for my training if I've got it in my garage, and these will be there. These things are freaking amazing. They are. Like the innovation on these, dude, Pepin, you killed it. You really did. The Pepin dumbbells that came out during the pandemic, I really liked, but he just kept innovating, and I love seeing small companies push the big guys. Like, this is freaking sick. Okay, what do you think? There's so many adjustable dumbbells out there. We've been asked a lot to review these. Let me know in the comments if there's any others you'd like us to review, because really one of the reasons we got these is so many people were requesting them. So shout out to you guys that let us know in the comments. Continue to do so. Let me know what you think of them, if you've used them, or if you've used others that you think actually compete with these. I'd love to hear from you. This has been Coop from Garage Gym Reviews. See you next time.